Welcome to the video presentation of our paper User Experience Evaluation of SAE Level 3 Driving on a Test Track. I'm Philipp Wintersberger from TU Wien, and this work was in cooperation with Shadan Sadeghian from the University of Siegen, Clemens Schartmüller, Katharina Frison and Andreas Riener from the Charisma Institute for Automotive Safety Research. SAE Level 3 driving is characterized by so-called takeover requests. Those are a notification to a fallback-ready user indicating that they should promptly resume performing the dynamic driving task to continue driving or bring the vehicle into a safe state, a so-called minimal risk condition. But what does it mean to be fallback ready? In the last couple of years, there has been a very high number of studies on takeover requests, and some have even argued that takeover studies have characteristics of a self-sustaining convenience. However, most of these findings has been obtained in driving simulator studies, and researchers have argued that there is a need to confirm simulator findings in naturalistic settings. Additionally, most of these studies did not really investigate user experience. And actually, this is what we aimed for with our study. So we asked ourselves, how does the dual task nature of level 3 driving, so to say switching between the driving and non-driving related tasks, influence users' experience? And also, how can in-vehicle interfaces support positive experiences in level 3 driving? As there are still no real level 3 vehicles publicly available, we had to somehow make this situation possible for our test track study. So what we did is we mounted a driving robot by Stele into an Audi A4. You can see it in the video. So this had some restrictions. Participants could not use the gas and brake pedals and could grab the steering wheel only at the designated handlebars. For our takeover scenario, we built a closed loop with multiple curves on our test track, where the maximum speed of the vehicle was 30 km per hour. In the video you can see the balloon target on a robot platform that would randomly occupy one out of two lanes. A takeover request would appear immediately before this curve where this obstacle would be, and it would randomly occur in any of the first or up to the 6th lap. So upon tour that we delivered with the 7-second lead time, drivers did not know which lane would be free to pass, so they would have to first perceive the situation and then steer the vehicle into the free lane. As secondary task, we used a modified reading span task. Participants had to rate the semantic correctness of sentences. So a wrong sentence could, for example, be, "In the winter, elephants fly to the south," while the correct sentence would be, "Birds fly to the south in the winter." Participants performed this non-driving related task once visually on a smartphone, indicating the correctness with the two green and red buttons, or using auditory speech output using two buttons on a mouse on the center console. Here you can see the driving scenario. Participant is driving in autopilot mode, and at some point a takeover request comes in. Participant has to see which is the free lane and maneuver the vehicle into that lane before the car comes to a stop. To assess user experience, we use different assessment techniques. We used the UX cards for psychological need fulfillment before and after the experiment, as well as we let draw our participant UX curve to assess the experience over time. Additionally, we conducted semi-structured interviews with them before and after the test runs, and we also asked them to perform think aloud during the process of drawing the UX curves or sorting the cards. In total, we had 22 participants, 12 female and 10 male, aged around 23 years. Now to the results. When we asked our participants before the test which kind of psychological needs they think will be fulfilled during level 3 driving, most thought that safety and security will be satisfied. Participants saying, "I see safety as a big plus point because many people can't drive safe enough." On the downside, a negative statement for security was, the car itself may drive safe, but as there is a takeover request, the human factor could become disturbing. What if someone is asleep or distracted? Also, autonomy was stated to be most likely fulfilled. Participants said things as, cars always provide autonomy because I am not depending on a bus schedule or so, and an AV even more because I can do something else than driving. A negative statement for autonomy would be, I do not see much benefit. In these drives I may even feel less autonomous as I cannot decide what will happen. Also, competence was an interesting psychological need in level 3 driving. In a positive statement, a participant said, competence and effectivity will be satisfied because one can use the time in another way, for example to work, make calls or meetings, and so on. Some also felt that competence will not be satisfied, fearing that if you react completely wrong, you probably feel quite incompetent. The fourth important need was stimulation. On a positive side, participants thought that I think drivers will be less stressed. You can use the time in the car more effectively, and logically you can do other things that you enjoy. Others felt that stimulation will not be fulfilled, for example saying, I'm a bit skeptical because I think that you have fun driving and that the fun fades a bit. When asked which of these psychological needs have been fulfilled during their experience after the drive and the reflection, nearly all said that safety and security was fulfilled. So for example saying that for security you were a bit insecure at first and didn't know how to do it, but everything went fine, so you trust the system pretty quickly. We have to mention we had no negative statements regarding for safety security after the test runs. Also, autonomy was fulfilled for most participants. For example, one saying, I was still independent during the trip, I could talk a little bit, and if you had that in real traffic, you would be more independent from the car. However, a couple of participants also felt that autonomy was not fulfilled, saying that I would have done a few things differently if I had driven the track myself. You are very dependent on the system. Competence, on the other hand, was also fulfilled for most participants, saying, I have done all the work well. Also the side jobs were easy to do, and I was also able to drive the car when I had to. Some participants also feared that competence was not really fulfilled, saying things like, I do not really feel effective because of the potential interruptions. I cannot confirm that this would improve my effectivity. Those participants always feared that a takeover will happen soon. Finally, stimulation was also fulfilled for most participants, one saying, I imagine that long car rides which are no fun after a while are definitely more fun with autonomous technology because I know that technology can take over in a situation where I want to sit back and do something else. However, stimulation was also mentioned as a negative way in the reflection. A participant stated, I did not feel very enjoying because I felt I like to drive myself. Regarding our research question, we asked how does the dual task nature of level 3 driving influence users' experience. So there were high expectations towards this technology, and most participants think that safety was fulfilled for all, even after this very short experience. We can also confirm that the psychological needs for safety, autonomy, competence, and stimulation are the most important psychological needs in automated driving. Also, many participants still perceive the driving task as the primary task, no matter if what the SAE standard would tell them about what level 3, how it works. And also, those who saw the NDRT, the non-driving related task, as the main task, they on the other hand felt interrupted by the takeover requests. We also asked, how can in-vehicle interfaces support positive user experiences in level 3 driving? And we must say that most participants, 18, preferred the auditory modality. So we can even say that situation awareness is even in level 3 important for potential users. And this must be considered in non-driving related task interfaces. Those should consider the user's capabilities and performance goals. For example, if they don't feel that the performance is supported by in-vehicle interfaces, they may just switch to their smartphones that has a negative safety aspect then in the end. Also, the TOR notification should adapt to the non-driving related task modalities. For example, we also placed the takeover requests on the smartphone in the corresponding condition. Now to the implications of our research. First, we might have to rethink what ice-free driving could mean. Even level 3 systems should support non-driving related task modalities that support maintaining situation awareness. This was frequently mentioned by participants. Also, driver monitoring systems may mediate drivers' non-driving related task demands and provide adequate warning when they would detect safety critical behavior. For example, drivers using the smartphone when it's not appropriate regarding the environmental situation. Regarding the user experience evaluation, the mere possibilities of stores that could occur already degrades the user experience, and this should be addressed in further research. Finally, we also are not sure if test track experiments are beneficial per se, so our participants had to operate a very expensive car that they would not own with even more expensive technology inside, and they constantly felt and they expressed that they felt high risk and that behaved cautious. Potentially, in driving simulator studies, this may resemble more the typical day-by-day driving, where most people also don't constantly think of accidents and potential risks. Thank you for watching our short video of our paper User Experience Evaluation of SAE Level 3 Driving on Test Track. I reported only some of the main results. There are even more in the paper, so take a look at it and read it and get into contact with us if you have additional questions. Thank you.